Hey guys, video number 2 of the day. I really have been feeling some weird shoulder pain in my right shoulder and I wanted to figure out what's wrong with it. And one thing I'm realizing is that my rear delts are undertrained and pretty weak. So I looked up some videos and some information. I found, of course, 3 of the best sources on YouTube: Ryan Humiston, Nippard and John Meadows. I'm gonna go through all the exercises I learned from them, and I'm gonna figure out which ones work the best for me, which ones I feel the most activation, and work on that mind-muscle connection because that's huge for the rear delts. So let's work through them together, see how it goes. All right, guys, so this first exercise I actually have seen a few different people do, and I used to do this a lot in my physical therapy. But this exercise is from Ryan. He did this with dumbbells. I wanted to try it with a band. Tried with a really heavy band at first. Well, not really heavy, but way too heavy for me. And I found that I really couldn't get a huge range of motion. I'm actually going to show you a different angle that Danielle filmed for me, and you'll see that I can't fully externally rotate, and I feel a little bit of pain when I do it. So just something to be aware of. But if you're going to do that with cables or bands, make sure you actually use an appropriate resistance. Don't go for really heavy because you won't actually get the full range of motion, and you'll probably hurt yourself. So here it is. You'll kind of see I'm trying to hold my elbow in close to my body. If you let your elbow flare out, it is no longer a rear delt exercise. You start recruiting other muscles like your traps, like literally your entire back, and even your bicep a little bit too. So don't do that. Here it is from the back angle. Kind of see that rear delt start working. Bless you. My dog just sneezed. And there we go. Can't really get the full range of motion. I try it again with dumbbells, and I felt it a little bit more. All right, so here it is with dumbbells, both dumbbells at the same time. I've also seen Daniel from Fitness FAQs, among a few other people, do this for rear delt work, side lying actually, and it allows you to really dig your elbow into your rib cage. So better range of motion with the dumbbells. Definitely felt it in my rear delt. And we move on to the second exercise, also from Ryan. He recommended a smaller range of motion and keeping that grip, overhand grip, rather than a neutral grip. Just coming out literally a foot, maybe even less. You'll see that top angle, my rear delt actually working, and I kind of felt my lower trap kicking in as well. Felt a little bit of pain when I do this one because I'm realizing now watching the video, I'm kind of shrugging up a little bit. Even if you watch it from above, I really wish I would have pushed my shoulder blades down and retracted a little bit. And I hit a kettlebell right there, so we refilm. So smaller range of motion, definitely needed some light weights. Those are 12s in my hands. So obviously an exercise I need to work on, and I really did feel my rear delt, so I think this is one I will add into my routine. And as you can see here, I'm going to show you this little diagram that I found from the internet showing all of the different musculature. You have a lot of muscles and a lot of stuff working in the back of the shoulder area. You've got obviously your traps, you've got your lats and your rear delt, as well as your rhomboids, so it's really easy to engage other things. So this was a lying face pull. Definitely an interesting one. I wish that I had an actual cable machine rather than just my lat pull down low row, because I could have probably gotten a better range of motion. But trying to aim on shooting my elbows back and bringing the cable to my face. Super lightweight. I think I could have done heavier, but again, the range of motion just wasn't really there, so I don't want to ruin it. And I changed my grip a little bit here, still aiming on shooting my elbows back, but going more toward my face, and as I'm pulling down, it looks like I'm pulling more to my chest. So not the best form on that one. Definitely something to learn. I really don't do this kind of direct work that often, and it's clear that it really will help me, I think. So moving on, this one is the 15 reps of the fly, and then 15 reps of what John Meadows called a swing. So trying to get full range of motion up to your shoulders, keeping that grip in an overhand or prone grip, and then going into a swing, which is a much shorter range of motion once you hit exhaustion. Watching it back now, I see how supporting your chest would be really helpful because it doesn't allow you to kind of move your body at all. But definitely a killer. I like this one as well, and I think I will add this to my routine, maybe even as a finisher to other rear delt exercises. And I just want to show you guys this again from the side. I tried to get a bigger range of motion this time and not swing my body, so I bent my knees a little bit more and braced my core. Aimed for a slightly different angle where I was aiming slightly back instead of directly out to the sides, because I felt like I was getting my side delt in there a little too much. So maybe next time I will try a neutral grip with this one. But anyways, 15 reps of a full range of motion followed by 15 reps at that little swing. You can see where it gets much shorter. Definitely a burner. I was feeling it. I was dying. And I really felt this one in my rear delt more than the previous exercise. So happy about that. Definitely felt it kind of isolate more. Well, now we're back on the bench. And this is the one that I had the hardest time with. That rowing action, not going out too wide, but going wider than a regular row, not tucking your elbows, but not flaring out too far. Had a hard time. I didn't feel it as much. I felt it a lot more in my lats and not as much in my rear delt, and I also felt it a lot in my rhomboids. It kind of felt like I was using way too many things. So non-exercise, I think I'll do again. John Meadows, in his video, he actually had a different bench. So I think that contributed to why I was feeling that, because I was on an incline rather than bent over the bench that he had. So check out his video to see how to do that with the proper bench. I just don't have that equipment in my gym. Also, I just kept this in there because the way I got up was so stupid. And now we've got face pulls. This is a low to high face pull. So I had just this band anchored up, and I was really thinking about driving my elbows back. Jeff Cavalier would have a heart attack if he saw this, because he always says lead with your wrists. But I tried to retract my shoulders and push my shoulders down and really get up. And I added a little external rotation for a few reps to see if it would feel any different. And I kind of felt that I was rolling my left shoulder forward. So I kept rolling it back and down again and again. That's one of my bad habits, actually. I roll my shoulders all the time. But this one, I really felt, I feel this as well in my lower traps and rhomboids. I think it's hard to completely isolate your rear delt when you're doing any kind of face pull. So I hinged forward a little bit and tried to isolate it without using any other musculature. And I was really trying to get that mind-muscle connection. I think that's what the rear delts are all about, is some mind-muscle connection. So interesting. Kept smacking myself in the face with this band. It's definitely better with a cable if you have one. All right, guys, so I am in the car. I'm not driving. I'm sitting in the driveway, so don't get mad at me. But all the rear delt exercises were great. The one I had a hard time with was from John Meadows, the mid row. I wasn't sure how far wide I was supposed to go. And also he had a different bench. He had one that you kind of like folded over rather than an incline bench. And I felt like I was lifting my chest at every rep. So definitely a me problem, but really like the face pulls, especially the low to high ones. Those were awesome. I definitely need to spend some more time focusing on that mind muscle connection to engage. And I think I'm going to start throwing in some rear delt stuff at the end of my overhead press day and probably bench day. So just some exercises, some good ideas. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Jeff. And thank you, John, for all the awesome exercises. I did try from Ryan. My bar is just too heavy for me right now. The behind the back raise, if you watch his video, he's in a bent over row position with the bar behind him, kind of like a hack squat with a bar, and he's just raising it up, but he's using like a curl bar. And I tried to use my Olympic bar, and it was way too heavy. So I think I need like 30 pounds, not 45. So I definitely felt it. I just couldn't get the full range of motion. So I'm definitely not going to show you guys that. But cool exercises. Don't neglect the small muscles, rear delt, rhomboids, lower traps. All those things usually end up tight, weak, and injured. A lot of people tear the rotator cuff. They hurt their rear delt. They think it's like the front of the shoulder, but it's because the front shoulder is constantly compensating for the back of the shoulder. And there is something to be said about heavy rows that will get the rear delt, of course, the rhomboids, lower traps, but it's nice to work on some isolation work. Just like anything, I do think those muscles do get ignored. Work on your stabilizers, work on overhead stability, such as an overhead unstable walk that I did with kettlebells hanging. Definitely a good one. If you have a bamboo bar, use that. I had fun. Learning experience. Hope these guys help you as well. All the links to the videos that I watched from Ryan, from Jeff, and from John are below in the description.